What is it that makes your eyes sparkle? What is it that puts a smile on your face? And what would you do if you could do anything you wanted? I was always a little bit different, always wanting to do things the other way around. With my thoughts, I was anywhere else where I was supposed to be, living in my own world, my own reality, where trees were made of water and flowers made of bubblegum. I was usually the one asking weird questions at school, like, do you believe in the lottery game? Or why does 1 + 1 = 2 and not 574? Or in the middle of math class, I would ask a teacher, what's your favorite vegetable? And because of that, a lot of times I felt like I wasn't really taken seriously. I didn't feel understood, because to me it made sense. But I always embraced who I was, and I never wanted to let anything come into the way of that. I knew that as long as I keep trusting myself and stay true to myself, I'll be able to do exactly what I love with all my heart and soul. So hello everybody, my name is Nadia, and I've been passionate about life and smiling and everything that has to do with food and the kitchen since 1995. Yep. So let's throw back to 12 years ago. When I was about 10 years old, I found my love and passion for cooking through a simple prepackaged box of brownies. The ones where you only have to add butter, eggs, milk, whisk it up, bake it, and done. So I tried to make them according to the recipe on the back, but I didn't like them. So I tried again, but nope, still did not like them. With all the pocket money I left, I got myself a third package, and I came home and I simply added whatever I felt like, like roasted nuts, ground almonds, cinnamon, vanilla, drizzled some honey on top, and they turned out delicious. And that taught me that there's always a way. Just find your own and make it unique. And ever since that day, I never used a recipe again. The kitchen became my place of freedom, a place where I was able to let my imagination run wild, a place with no limitations and rules, a place where I was able to express my creativity and my emotions out of the box, out of the brownie box. I would lock myself into the kitchen for hours and hours and cook 4-course menus for my family. But to me, it was never just about creating an experience for the taste buds. It was always about creating this experience for all senses, about letting my family have a seat in my world. So I would write down the menu on a big piece of paper, hang it up on the wall. I would light up candles and play music in the background, and I would serve the food as if it was my painting. And what brought me even more joy was to see the happy smiles on my family's faces, the joy, the love, the connection. I loved every minute of it. And I never forgot to say, I cook, you clean. Thanks, Mom. Let's just say we had a lot of explosions in our kitchen, but good thing a lot of them were taste explosions. So up until this point in my life, I learned 2 very important lessons, messages, whatever you want to call them. So first, do things that are hard for as long until they become easy, and turn your fears and your weaknesses into your biggest strengths. So the feeling that I felt when I was younger that I wasn't taken seriously enough could have made me feel very unwanted and insecure, which it did to a certain point, but I decided to use it for my own good and turn it into positive energy. Because positive energy is the only thing that can uplift negative energy in every aspect of life, and then use it as motivation to prove to people that you can be different and that you can do your own thing. And number 2 was, you can do anything you want, and be good at it. And no degree can change anything about it. As long as you're passionate about it, as long as you have the trust, the motivation, the dedication, and the focus to really do it, that's all you need, that's all you need. But you gotta give it 100% and not just 99.9, because that's a huge difference. So dedication, trust, motivation, work hard, boom, you got it all, but 100%. By the age of 16, I moved to Canada for 6 months. I was still cooking a lot, always wanting to create this human connection around food. But I also came back home with about 10 kilos more in my hips. And I wasn't moving my body as much I used to, as I grew up very active as a child. And I was probably focusing my diet a little bit too much on eating muffins and cheesecakes and toast with peanut butter, a lot of peanut butter. When you can put a little bit of butter or a lot of butter on your toast, so I was opting for that one. And I didn't even realize at first that I had gained weight. But, coming back home to Switzerland, settling back into the normal life, at one point I simply didn't feel comfortable in my skin anymore. And I didn't like that. I didn't like how that limited my way of living, my freedom. So I decided to change something about it. Not for anybody else's sake, but for my own. And my focus was always on, I want to feel good and comfortable in my own skin again. It was never on, I want to weigh this much or that much, or I want to be this size or that size. And I never really wanted to go on a diet because they usually have to do with restrictions and rules, and they only work short term, and they're not fun. Like, come on, did anyone ever tell you, hey, I'm on a diet and it's so much fun? No, right? So I wanted to find out for myself what works for me and make my own experience and change something that on the long term that is fun, that I can enjoy. So with a lot of dedication and effort and motivation, I decided to start working out again, and I changed my eating habits. And holy smokes, I was getting so excited because very quickly I did not only feel better physically, but also mentally and emotionally. And the more conscious I became of the choices I made, the more I started to appreciate myself. But not just myself, everyone and everything around me so much more. And I realized that it's a huge, huge privilege to even have the choice of what you want to eat and what not. So why not make the best choice for yourself? And what had started from replacing white sugar with honey had then turned into a lifestyle. A lifestyle that is filled with joy and love and deliciousness. A lifestyle that is about a balance between your body, mind, and soul, whether in regard of your daily life, your diet, your fitness, your mindset, because it's not about how you look. It's about how you feel. And if you feel good in here, boom, you're going to radiate that to the outside like a shining star. And of course, I had the urge to share that with people. To share with people that in order to feel good in your own skin, it has nothing to do with restrictions and rules and cheat days. It's about living, feeling, and eating better and not less. That healthy food can be so delicious and fun and easy. It's not complicated. It can be easy and simple. So in order to share that with people, I decided to bring in another one of my big passions, which is photography. And I remember very well the first photo I took of one of my breakfast creations. I was just so amazed by how you can really capture the emotions of food just as much as you can capture them of people. So I started sharing my photos and recipes every single day on social media, and I got a lot of engagement quickly. And of course, all the comments and likes, they got me motivated to keep going. But after a few months, I was like, something seems to be missing. Something very fundamental. It just didn't fulfill me. Something that I can share with people one-to-one and not just over a screen. Something that I can show my kids one day, and something that is unique and irreplaceable. And that brings me to my next topic. Do or create something that is unique or irreplaceable. And I think the only way to do that is to authentically and unapologetically be yourself. Because nothing, and no one in the world can replace that. There's only one you. We're all superhumans with our own superpowers. I see a Spider-Man there, a Wonder Woman down here. Yeah, you. We're all superhumans, but it's up to us whether we use our superpowers or not. But the more you are in your power, the more you start to trust and believe in yourself. And the more you trust and believe in yourself, the less you compare yourself to others. Because comparing yourself to others is like massaging your soul with toxic. And it's not comfortable. So, build up a strong relationship with yourself. Take that time, invest that time. And no time is never an excuse. It's always a choice. My choice to create something that is 100% me was to create my own book, my own cookbook. I was 19 back then. And I didn't really have any intentions behind it other than wanting to put it as much love and passion and emotions into it, hoping that that would be the first thing to burst out of the book as soon one opens the book. And of course, in hope to inspire people to become their very own artists in the kitchen and to give them the chance to feel better in their own skin. So besides acting school, which is what I did after high school, putting myself into different characters there, I was working on my book nonstop, day and night, putting myself into my own character. So from, coming up with over 100 new recipes, from writing to the text to pretty much everything, or teaching myself everything like layouting, editing, taking photos, whatever, everything on the way that I needed to do the book exactly the way I want it. I created the book within 4 months. And right after it was released, pretty much, like a week later, it became a #1 bestseller. To my own surprise, I have to say. But things went kind of crazy ever since then. So I quit film acting school, I founded my own company, and I turned my passion into my everyday life. So to do what you love might take a lot of courage, and you might have to sacrifice one thing for another. But if you do what you love, if your passion is your everything, it won't feel like a job or work. It will just feel like you're living. And I don't think you need a day off of living. I hope you don't. So please, please do everything you possibly can to do what you love. And why? Because you don't deserve anything less. You don't deserve anything less. No one does. People might think I was lucky, that I was at the right place in the right time, and maybe I was. But never judge something where you don't see behind the scenes. It can take a long time to become an overnight success. And it took me 10 years to get there, So going pretty much nonstop over the past 3 years, going from one thing to another, sometimes feeling like I was everywhere, but nowhere really, having moments where I was doubting myself and questioning what I was doing. I just needed to take a step back and reflect, which I find so important, to always remind yourself to reflect. And I implemented 2 very important things into my life that I now consider with every decision that I make to help me to stay true to myself. And I hope they can be helpful for you too. So, #1, always, always, always put quality above quantity. We're bombarded with information and opinions and opportunities from all directions. It seems like we want to do everything but not miss out on anything. And we tend to give up quickly because it just didn't work out, or because the next best thing is already around the corner. But if you want to stay true to your self-worth, only ever do things that allow you to be and express you for who you are. And then do whatever it is that you do with as much love and passion, and do it in your best and most honest and real and authentic way possible. Because then you'll be able to touch people and make an impact. And it doesn't matter whether it's on a big scale or whether you simply touch a single person. Because if it's real, honest, and raw and authentic, that's all that matters. So the more quality, the more value you give to yourself, the more value you can give to the others. For me, putting quality above quantity has always paid off, especially if you think long-term. If you want to build up, a business, a brand, a relationship over the long term, putting quality above quantity will always be worth it. And number 2, always ask yourself, why do I do what I do? The simple question, why do I do what I do, or what and who does it serve, can give you so much clarity about yourself. The thing I love so much about food and cooking is that you can't just hear it, see it, smell it, or touch it. Those are just the tools to express it with. What I really love about it is what I can transmit through it, the purpose behind it, which is to make people feel. People might forget who you are, what you did, how much money you had, all this status stuff, they might forget that, but people are never going to forget how you made them feel. And you can only make people feel if it comes from your heart. And what comes from your heart is most likely linked to your why, to your purpose. So in order to find your why, the purpose behind what it is that you do, it's so, so important to be fully, and 100% honest with yourself. Ask yourself over and over again, why do I do what I do? Why do I do what I do? And maybe there's a second why hidden beneath the first why, and a third why hidden beneath the second why. Just ask yourself for so long until you can say, yep, that's why I do it. That is my honest truth. The last thing you need is validation from outside or from anyone else. The only validation you need is the one from yourself. And if you ever have times when you feel like, everything's just going completely the wrong way and you feel stuck and lost, this might help you because it helps me. We are nature. And nature is always perfectly aligned with the universe. But a flower doesn't bloom all year, so don't expect yourself to do so either. But in order to keep it alive, you have to nurture the soil with love and care and respect, no matter what season it's going through, so that it can start grow and bloom again. So if you ever have a hard time, just think of yourself as a flower. Let me ask you again. What would you do if you could do anything? Anything you wanted in the world, and why? What is it that puts a big, big smile on your face? And what is it that really makes your eyes sparkle? We all have it within us, that sparkle. Each and every one. Some might have to dig a little bit deeper than the others to find it, but we all have it. It's right there. Don't base your reality on what you were taught to believe is right or wrong, good or bad, black or white. And don't let anyone tell you what you should do and what you shouldn't do. Make up your own mind. And don't see the structures of our society as limits, but see them as chances to break through. Because it's in the unknown where the potential of our growth lies. Don't hold back and think out of the box, out of the brownie box. Because the biggest risk you can take is not taking a risk at all. So fight for it, live for it, be you and do you. I always had this trust inside of me, and it guided me through my whole life. By not following the norm, by not letting my imagination and creativity be limited by anyone or anything, by having the most amazing parents, ever, that always supported me. I was able to follow my passions. And only through following my passions, I was able to find my purpose behind it, which is to spread as much joy and love and happiness as possible. And I just want to make people happy. I'm sorry I'm getting emotional, but to make people, but to make people happy with what makes me happy, honestly, you can see it, like, that's what fills my heart. So, my purpose has turned into a vision. And I'll do everything I possibly can. I'll give 100% and not just 99.9% to turn that vision, bring it into action. And I can only do that through expressing whatever it is as passionately as I can. And that, to me, is the key to unlock the door to live up to my full potential. So, trust yourself, find that sparkle, light it up, make sure to keep it alive, and inspire everybody else to do just the same. Thank you.